We're going to talk about Mayor Bloomberg's legacy, but first listen to the Morning Joe cast fillet him here while slamming de Blasio's inauguration.
There's a place and time for everything. These people have had plenty of time to criticize the mayor. He's a really wealthy guy who did this job for nothing for 12 years, imperfectly, but the city's in very strong thanks to him. And for people to come on this occasion and use the platform to criticize him in an ungracious and often unfactual way, I think is outrageous. And I think
and in front of him, with him having to sit there.
I think Mayor de Blasio, yesterday was a little bit stronger, but in the moment, I think he should have called an audible and been more gracious to Mayor Bloomberg.
Well, and it'd probably be good for him to make another overture or two to Mayor Bloomberg. Mayor Bloomberg, whether you supported his policies or not, and I supported almost all of his policies, except for the ones where he wanted to ban soda and cigarettes and sex within the city limits, and anything at all that people might enjoy. I think he was a bit of a scold in that area, but I think he was an extraordinary mayor for this town. 12 years. You look where New York City is. For those of us that were walking around New York City in 1990, 1991, 1992, you know what? Bloomberg could sit there and get kicked around yesterday because historians will look at what he and Giuliani did together. Over 20 years, there were excesses. Please, you don't have to tell me there were excesses. I know there were excesses. But taken on the whole, the transformation of this city has been unlike anything I have ever seen in American government in my life.
Bloomberg is just so great. He's so hot. Just want to touch him. Oh, he did the biggest, best job in the history of America that I've ever seen, ever. Yeah, the entire time I'm sitting here and they're talking, I'm going, please, please, just give me one fact. Just one. Just give me one number, one data point, one something from the Census Bureau, from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, from an independent group inside New York. Nothing. Nothing. Morning Joe, the entire cast, they have like the worst kind of Washington bubble bullshit vapid talking points of anybody. So are you ready for Bloomberg's actual legacy? Buckle up. This is going to be fun. From 2010 to 2012, 1.3 million New York City residents weren't able to provide adequate nutrition for their families at some point over the course of a year. 1 in 10 senior citizens didn't have enough food during the same time frame, or about 176,000 New Yorkers older than the age of 60. About 400,000 children, or 1 of every 5 citywide, lived in hunger during the 2010 to 2012 period. At the same time this is going on, nearly 6 in 10 food charities saw their total funding cut in 2013, despite demand increasing each year dating back to 2009. Under Bloomberg, the percentage of New Yorkers living in poverty has risen to over 21%. The number of homeless families in New York City has skyrocketed under Bloomberg by 73%. Homeless children in New York City? Well, now there's 19,000 of them, the highest number since the Great Depression. Now, when Bloomberg was talking about an 11-year-old homeless girl living in a rat-infested place in a press conference, he said, quote, "This kid was dealt a bad hand. I don't quite know why. That's just the way God works. Sometimes some of us are lucky and some of us aren't." Yes, Mayor Bloomberg, this 11-year-old girl who's homeless and living in a rat-infested shelter, yeah, it's just God. That's how God works. Why are you not trying to alleviate that via your policies? You know, you are the mayor. You do have some effect on stuff like that. Now, he also sued to kill New York's living wage law right before he left office. Stay classy. He said about the stop and frisk program, which has a 90% failure rate and stops minorities 84% of the time, way disproportionate to their representation in society. He said that the program actually, quote, stops whites too much and minorities too little. Yes, this is a real genius that we're dealing with here, a real great guy, real big-time leader we got going on here. And finally, while all of that was going on, all these disgusting poverty numbers, inequality numbers, homeless numbers, and racist policies, what else was going on? Well, according to Forbes data on the richest citizens, they found out that the net worth of the 53 billionaires in New York City rose from $210 billion to $277 billion over just the past 2 years. So $67 billion more dollars goes to the richest people in the city, while this asshole watches more kids become homeless, watches more people starve, including senior citizens, has racist policies all over the place. You cannot sit there and say Mayor Bloomberg did a good job unless you're an idiot.